I believe it's important we go for everything we want in life because we only have one life to live. So we have to give it everything we got and try to make our dreams, our hopes, our aspirations become reality.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Masterpiece Inspirations, where we bring you inspirations to help you navigate the challenges of life, rise above your challenges, and turn your setback into a comeback so that you can start living a purpose-driven life. Well, I'm still your host, Clems. I'm super excited to have with me today a very special guest. And today's topic, you will find it quite valuable. Today, we will be discussing about the discovery of your purpose. My guest is Dr. Arinze. He is an author and the founder of the Transform Your World Initiative. I cannot do it justice, so I will allow you, Dr. Arinze, to introduce yourself to our audience. Thank you very much. Take it from there.
Well, thank you very much for Claire. My name is Arinze Chianumba. Like you said, I'm an engineer by training, and but I'm very passionate about personal development, particularly materializing purpose on earth, the reason humans are born. Life fulfillment, if you want to call it that, but I'm passionate about that, maximizing humanity. So, and of course, that's what led to the initiative, Transform Your World Initiative. It's from the challenge that I received at my nearly 50 years, being challenged to account for what my life on earth means. How my years have gone on earth. What can I account for having been 50 years on earth? And I couldn't account for that. But from there, my mind opened up and I began to know that life is here for a purpose, and life is here on earth to make a significant impact that brings fulfillment to the individual.
Wow.
And that's what has been driving me since then.
Wow. Thank you very much for that intro, Dr. Arinze. Well, you see, the subject of purpose has always been something a lot of people have considered a mystery, you know?
Yeah.
I remember this, there is a quote from Mark Twain. He said that the two most important days in a person's life is the day you were born and the day you discover why.
That's right.
Now, to help our audience, you know, because I think for the past probably decade, you know, I think the issue of purpose has been commercialized, if I may put it that way. But you and I know that it is a journey of discovery, and that journey can take you through a lot of course. But we thank God that says, you know, you've been able to crack it. So I will start off this conversation by asking, why is the discovery of purpose important?
Well, good question. Why is the discovery of purpose important? Nearly like asking, why is the knowledge of the purpose of anything important? Why is the knowledge of the purpose of my glasses important? Why is the knowledge of the purpose of a computer important? Why is the knowledge of the chair I'm sitting on important? Why is the knowledge of the purpose of the mic important? Why is the knowledge of the purpose of a school important? Anything. Can you imagine asking that when you ask that question? Why is the knowledge of purpose of something important? If a car, probably have a car. Why is the knowledge of the purpose of your car important? And these are very, very important questions, because it was led that Dr. Miles Monroe that said that where the purpose of a thing is not known,
sure,
abusing that thing is inevitable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you don't know why something exists, you will assign it a purpose. Because if it doesn't have a purpose, it doesn't have a meaning.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a meaning. So the same thing, if you don't know the purpose of your life, you will give your life a purpose. He will give you something. And of course, most often, what you assign, since you didn't manufacture the instrument or implement, the purpose you put it for may most likely not be what the thing is made for. And several consequences come from there. Can you imagine handling a knife and you don't know the purpose why a knife is made? You might go and hold the sharp end of it, which babies do. Babies do that because they are mentally not developed to know the purpose of a knife or to know which area, because of that, which end of the knife to hold. So they can just grab it anywhere. Do you know where they put it when they get the knife, a baby? You know where it goes when they get the knife? Or into the mouth.
Definitely.
Because they don't know the reason. They don't have the idea of what a knife is for. And then they get hurt because of that. Similar, when the purpose of a life is not known, most likely you will put that life to, you assign it a meaning that you think it is for. And then you get hurt, so badly hurt. Heartaches, disappointments, depression, and all kinds of the human experience that are undesirable begin to be what is prevailing. Because the life too is not being put to the reason why it exists. So it's extremely important to know the purpose of your life, because that's where satisfaction comes from. That's where life can be enjoyed in the midst of chaos, where everywhere is in turmoil, but to know the purpose why this life exists in that midst. When you hear about the song we sing, peace in the midst of storm, is purpose identified and being fulfilled.
That's true.
So it's extremely important, my brother. Extremely important to know what the purpose of your life is.
Absolutely on point. Absolutely on point on that. Now let me take it a bit further. Now that's, and because you have summarized it, especially with that quote from Dr. Miles Monroe, that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe has been, you know, blessed memory, has been someone that inspires me, inspired me a lot. And I know he did the same thing with, you know, for you, with a lot of books that he wrote. Now let's bring it to the you know, personal level. My next question is, how comes that people find it difficult to recognize or to discover their purpose?
Well, there is the reason why people find it difficult to recognize their purpose. You know, the principle of life is always that when you seek is when you find. I think what happens generally is people are not aware that there is even a purpose. We are born and we look around us and see what everybody else is doing, and we just follow because that's the way they are being done. So I don't know if you asked me, was it difficult for you to discover your purpose? I wasn't even looking for it. I didn't even know I should. I didn't even know I should look for my
likewise.
I thought, for the fact that I am born and I looked around and found that what people are going after is to be able to get a job. So I started going after that one too. When I wanted to select a course to read in university, I saw that I would say this one will give you more money. That one you will survive with that one. You will get. I use that criteria too. I do that criteria. So that's the meaning I assign to my love for mathematics and science. It's a tool to get money to eat, to survive. So purpose didn't come out in any of these things. I never knew that I was given inclinations in me for a purpose to fulfill a role on planet Earth. I didn't know that. To me, I came to exist and survive and then die. So I don't know whether I could be right. I'm accurate in saying it is difficult for me to find my purpose because I wasn't looking for it. But the moment I was challenged about it and I accepted the challenge to find out, I know that when I sought it, I discovered it. So for many people, the thing is the pressure to survive and the drive to survive has not even allowed them to think that they ought to find out.
Sure.
So the common thing I think I have observed, many, just like myself, is that particularly those of us that whose conscience have been pricked at one time or the other, and they think, I think I do have a purpose. I have a purpose. We just leave it. We just leave it there. I have a purpose, and hope that we'll be drifted into it. That maybe after a while of really trying very much to be good and do the right things, then I will be doing my purpose. That's the kind of mindset that was driving me until God helped me. And it's like I woke up from sleep and went after identifying what it is. And I went through very simple processes that I was consistent in finding out. And I did find out, nailed it, and began to develop it, and now acting on it. And I believe that everybody has the same potential to find out if they desire to. And that's the reason why I put together the course that you and I know about. I call Strategic Life Implementation course. Sure. A program that helps people right from the beginning of their desire to find out. They'll find out. Just go through the simple processes to find out, and then begin to develop and work on it and take your life forward along implementing the reason you are born. It's there to be found out. We are designed to find out. That's the whole way our lives are set up. Once we desire to find out, we'll find out.
Oh, that's quite on point there. Okay, now, because let me give an example from what you said. Every human being, I think you come to a stage in one's life, you will start developing some critical thinking abilities. It doesn't happen to, but at least most people, especially you go to your universities, some people go to mosques, some go to churches, but there comes a time in your life, in one's life, people will begin to develop some critical thinking abilities, and you begin to question things. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, it was that process that led me to start looking into that direction of what is the purpose of life. You see, a lot of people, we go to work from sunrise, walk until sunset, you come back. Then it comes to a time you ask yourself, is it all about this 5 to 9? Is that all what my life is all about? Could there be something else better than life? There are some people who are in jobs that they hate, and they are never motivated to wake up. In fact, some people, they dread even waking up the next day. So you have written this book about, how to strategically discover one's purpose. Mm-hmm. Now we would like to, my audience would like to learn more about what are these strategies. So if you can talk us through, I know it's quite, it's not a journey of a day, but if you can, somebody that is going to be listening to this, probably in the next 1 hour or thereabout, if you can talk us through, what are these processes to this discovery of purpose, and how can they use it to impact their own life, as well as having an impact in their environment?
Right. The Strategic Life Implementation course, that's the title of the course. Takes number one is there are about 13 workbooks, 13 books in it. Okay. From the first one, take charge of your life, because that's really the very first thing. For the majority of cases, humans understand their destiny to be in the responsibility of some force outside there. Just drift them along in life, and somehow, and now when I end, then I'll see how I end. Very poor way to live life. Sure. Very poor way to live life. Yeah. So the first workbook, brings that challenge to just wake up and clearly make you become aware. Your life has a big meaning on planet Earth, and you are designed to fulfill that meaning before you leave. Sure. You must take responsibility to make it happen. It will not happen by itself. Yeah. And then, from getting that clarity in your mind that your life has a big meaning, natural question is, then what is that meaning? And that's what gets to workbook 2. Discovering your purpose, your mission, your vision on earth, what your life is about. So there are simple questions that we take you through to explore yourself, because everything is built in you. Each one of us, what your life is designed to change on earth or do on earth and become on earth is wired inside you. And you pick up that wiring right from the infancy as you're growing up as natural inclinations. You know, it's something that your inner being has some natural desires to. Some are very pronounced. You see it right from the beginning, like maybe singer, people that have very strong talents of singing, sports, you know, you can see that very visible. There are some that are not that visible.
Sure.
But each person is wired with something to do that reveals the nature of God humans are carrying inside. Display it on earth and altering the earth. And that's what the workbook 2 helps you to go through the simple process of identifying those inclinations in you and then zeroing it into what it means on earth. Because we are on earth, we came in here to live on earth and then finish our life and go. But by the time we leave, the impact of our presence had been registered because a human being came here and walked this face of the earth before they left. We are not meant to simply be counted as statistics. The evidence of our being here was supposed to be released before we leave. And each person has the capacity to do that. You are wired for it. That's what this workbook opens your mind to see and identify. Then workbook 3 takes you to begin to see that picture of the future that you were designed to create before you leave Earth. We call it create your future. It takes you from there. After these 3, which we call stage 1 in the process of discovering your life and what it means in society, we begin to introduce you to the principles that make life work. Systems, workbook 4 is systems. And from workbook 4, learning how everything on earth works, the whole life system is set up, to taking you to the reason why you function currently the way you function. Subconscious programming is workbook 5. And the early workbook 6 will begin to talk to you about discovering the reality of who you really are that is hidden beyond human perception.
Sure.
When you discover that, to program your whole being with it, because that you that is hidden from human view is the you that is designed to manifest on earth here before you leave. That's your sole job, to make sure you show up before you leave.
Sure. You
don't leave the way you came in. You came in here from your mother's womb, just covered with flesh, and everybody just saw yourself now, baby. Everybody just look alike, look the same. But before you get out here, your presence must be registered. If I mention Nelson Mandela today, you know it's not a baby that was born in South Africa. If I mention Benjamin Franklin, you know I'm not talking about a baby born in the US. Or if I talk about Mother Teresa, any of these names that I mentioned, there's some significance that comes to your mind. It is not luck. Each person is wired to make that kind of impact. And they are carrying it. And that's what workbook 6 and workbook 5 helps you to know, to learn to program your whole being with that reality about your life. And workbook 7 introduces you to the reality of actually working one by one on a daily basis, converting the most valuable asset every human being is equipped with, time. Time. So that you know why I was asked a question at my nearly 50 years, said, hey, 50 years have passed, show me what has happened. What have you done? What have happened with your life in 50 years? And all I could show you that I ate food. Can you imagine? That's all I
like most people.
You know,
yeah.
I ate food. Now I have a car and I bought a house. Oh my God. You can imagine that's what I would, the likeness and image of God came to earth to buy a car and have a house and eat food. You know, but that's all I could show. That's all I could show. My mind was clogged up. I couldn't see. I couldn't see. So workbook 7 challenges and shows you in practical, step-by-step process on how to convert your hours and your minutes and your days into value that makes you materialize your life on earth. Then with that's stage 2 of the course finished there. From stage 3, the last part of the course, now that's from workbook 8, begins to train you to take this, your purpose that you have discovered and the impact you've seen your life make on society, and start taking practical actions to alter the earth. So it's called implementation. So we have throughout workbook 8, 9, and to workbook 11 and 12, where it ends. All that is in details on planning out your life. You can see some of us, like you mentioned, Miles Monroe. I listened to him, number of his messages, and before he left, he would tell you that I can see 50 years down the line how this ministry is going to be.
Sure.
It's not magic. It's not magic. It's a workable. That's the way humans are supposed to train their minds to see down the line 50 years, 100. You see yourself the way you will be before you leave Earth. It is doable, and that's what book 8 to 12 helps you clearly plan out, and begin to implement. So, in principle, this whole series will help individuals discover who they are, see the impact their lives and what the meaning of their life in society, and then begin to take practical actions to make it happen, because that's why they are here. That's the summary of the course.
Wow. Before I ask the question, and I did say that this is not just it's not just something we can just talk through in few minutes or few hours. No. It's a journey.
It is.
But let me bring into this, because I always like to, approach things practically. Let's say for the way, we met, because this is about purpose. I started, just like yourself, I started, critically asking myself questions about, why am I here on earth? Is it all about, waking up, going to work, having success, and so on and so forth? Could there be more to life? And then I stumbled upon Miles Monroe book and read it, Discovery of Purpose, Pursuit of Purpose. And then I also started opening my mind to listening to personal development messages and books, and I read a lot. In that journey, just like you said, because purpose is within, it's something you came with. I started discovering what is it that makes me passionate, which is the reason why I wrote a book, which is called Daily Positive Affirmation, the self-talk therapy for overcoming challenges and fears. And I was quite fortunate that I asked you to write the forward for that book, and you graciously accepted. Now, in the course of that, because I'm bringing this to what you said, I know that in your book, and equally during our conversations, you said something about people drifting in life, and many people being raised, most of us, in an environment that has programmed them to think a certain way. Can you throw more light in that? Because the journey, the workbook you just stipulated, is taking them on a journey, which I will say is a process of unlearning, learning, and relearning. Can you talk us through this journey? Drifting, environmental program. Why do people have to go through, series of studies or whatever in order to discover this? Can you throw just, some light on that, please?
No, like you mentioned, there's a quotation you mentioned earlier about from Mark Twain, that
yes,
people have two lives.
Yeah.
That their first life is the one they are living now.
Yeah.
And the second one starts when they discover they only have one life.
Sure. Now,
you begin to anybody that thinks further about that statement, begin to it's similar to actually the answer to the question about drifting.
Yeah.
You said the second life starts when you realize you only have one life. Because many people don't even, they thought it didn't occur to them that they have a life. To many, life is a continuum that never stops. They don't wake up one morning thinking this might be my last day on earth.
Sure.
People don't. Even if you even try to bring it up in a discussion, you say, no, don't stop it. Stop talking about death. Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying. We don't like to talk about that. But it's a reality. It's a reality that this earth, you are finite here. You're finite. In fact, the number of your days just got cut by one more day when you woke up this morning. Yesterday passed. And tomorrow, another one day is subtracted. Your days are shrinking further and further of existence here. But when you recognize, somehow your heart begins to make you realize that you are more than a statistic in society.
Sure.
Your life has a meaning. Many people, because they can't find no meaning of their life, they have actually gone ahead to commit suicide, kill themselves, because they feel life is meaningless. But life is not me. Each person's life is exciting. It really is. But many people don't. It's not something we are trained to think as children coming up. In our nursery school, primary school, going through secondary school, we are not told that because, and I guess because our teachers didn't know it. If they told us our lives has a meaning, and then I ask them, so what's the meaning of my life? They don't know. And they don't know how to help me find out either. So that subject gets numbed. They don't talk about that. Just now, if you have no direction, there is no meaning that you are carrying in your consciousness for your life. Quickly, there is no direction where your life is, where you are taking your life. I want to watch it. The ship that is in the ocean, now when I use the word drifting, doesn't mean it's not going anywhere. It's going somewhere, but it is not the captain determining where the ship is going. It's the current, the ocean currents that drive in. Wherever the ocean current drives it, that's where it will. That's what's called drifting. There is no specific direction. It may be going that way and another wave comes and blows it, then it follows the current way. Human life that has not discovered the meaning of their particular life is also driven by the currents of happenings and events of society. And many of us, that's the way our lives have been going. Some of us might be professors in the university, and may even be aircraft pilots. We might get my license in Nigeria as aircraft pilot. And because I don't really have a book, I just look for where the currents are driving me. I find that they are accepting aircraft pilots in England. Then that's where the current is flowing. So I go there and then get my and then they fly an airplane. Or like I said, the professor. I find that where the next professorship opportunity is in China or in US. Then I go there because that's where the current of life is. That's
or a businessman.
Or a businessman opportunity. No, go to Japan because that's another opportunity to go there. So drifting in life means the meaning of your life is not known. Therefore, its destination is also not known. And therefore, and it means I am not determining where it will be. That's why you can ask me, where will your life be next 5 years? What will be happening? I can't tell you because I am not in charge. I don't. Can you imagine many people don't even think it, that humans are in charge of their own destinies on earth? We find it safe to have the comfort that somebody else, maybe God is handling it, how my life will end. God is handling that. But of course, all these things are not true. Drifting in life is when your life is allowed to be carried by the currents of happenings in the country. Okay, if things are tough in the country, then your life is in a tough place. If things are easy, then your life is an easy place. That's drifting. But we are not, and that's the way, and you know, in that format, you asked about environmental programming. I did talk about that a lot. Environmental programming. When I was growing up, I found out what I got described is the way people around me are functioning. That's what I found out. So I thought that's the way I should be functioning too. Therefore, what I'm seeing around me is what set the way my mind works. That's where my thinking developed. So I just go around be looking for opportunity. That's right. So that way of functioning is what had been driving my life until I recognized that my life has a meaning and I am responsible to make sure that meaning materializes before I leave. That's what we are here about, to help people to do that, exactly that.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. I think that's a good note to start wrapping up that side, because we will continue on this. And the one thing I wanted to add before I will allow you to tell us about your book launch, you know, Miles Monroe said something quite important. He said that the richest place on planet Earth is not the oil field of Iraq, it's not the oil field in Africa, but the richest place in the planet Earth is in the graveyard. That in the graveyard, you will find books that have not been written. You find, you know,